This live webinar will be recorded and made available in an accessible alternative format upon request. If you require captioning, transcription, or other communication services to access this webinar, please contact the Disability Resource Center, DRC, at drc@snhu.edu or call 877-591-4723, option 4. This video is going to pick up and help you ascertain what we look at and what our variances are basically informing us and what we need to investigate. This is part of your paper, the final project part 1. You're just simply going to indicate based on your variances what Peyton approved should look into, what they should investigate. So again, remember, my numbers are different than your final project. So again, let's review this variance analysis. So we actually paid $14 an hour. Our employees worked 32,000 hours. We projected $15 an hour at a standard amount of hours of 30,000. So to produce our products, we're saying that our employees should have worked no more than 30 hours in the process. My $448,000 is just simply my actual cost times my actual quantity. My $450,000 is simply my 30,000 times my $15. This $480,000 though is a benchmark. Remember, it is my standard cost times my actual quantity. How much would I have paid at the actual usage with my standard price? This $480,000 is what I'm going to use to indicate whether I have a favorable or unfavorable variance for the left side of my analysis and the right side of my analysis. So when I conducted my analysis, I determined that I had a $32,000 favorable labor cost price variance, meaning I paid $1 less. So I did not pay more than the $480,000. I only paid $448,000. So that was favorable for me. On the other hand, my employees worked 2,000 more hours than we anticipated or we budgeted. Remember, when we come up with this standard number of 30,000, we have engineers behind us telling us that our machines can produce X number of products in this amount of time, and our employees should only work this amount of time to produce X number. So we have a pretty good basis. We're not just kind of throwing a dart. While sometimes we are, it's a little hypothetical, but for the most part, it's pretty spot on, and we know for sure that this is what it should take. So had we paid the $15 an hour, we would have been looking at only spending $450,000 based on my budgeted amounts. But had I paid the $15 at the actual quantity, I would have paid out $480,000, being that that's an unfavorable efficiency, meaning I am not utilizing my resources properly. Okay. So the next thing we want to look at that's in your paper is investigating what elements could be driving these variances. Okay. So our cost price is telling us that we're doing a pretty good job because we paid $14 an hour. But what you have to do is think of the flip side of that. If I'm only paying $14 an hour, how is that working for morale? And did I pay $14 an hour versus $15 because of the experience level of my employees? And if I don't have qualified employees working for me, what does that do to my end product? Do I have more scrap? Do I have more rework because of inexperienced employees? Are the machines not functioning properly? Have we not maintained our maintenance schedule? Is there equipment failure, or was there something that occurred that caused my employees to work 2,000 more hours than we originally budgeted? So if you begin to think about that and put yourself as a manager and go, okay, if I was presented with a 30,000 unfavorable variance, and even the favorable variance, because we have to look at this as well. While it's favorable and we're like, that's wonderful, we still have to look at the fact that it's a variance, it's favorable, but what is it informing us? Okay, of course we are going to be far more focused on our unfavorable variance and really digging into the whys. So again, a lot of those whys that we looked at on the previous slide come right into this one because it all connects. Again, my labor force, what is their skill level? My machine level, my morale level. For materials, you want to think about the quality of the raw materials that we're using. Did we purchase materials from a new vendor, or are they lower quality and our machine is not handling it properly, creating, again, more time, more scrap, more rework. So you have to kind of think of a manufacturing process in that we're only as strong as our weakest link. So if we are looking at our variances, they're going to inform us at what point and where are we inefficient or where we are effective. So these are the elements that you're going to look into for the first part of your paper. Again, you're just indicating what should be investigated. And remember, that's for your proficient. Exemplary is going to be some examples. So I have offered you some of those examples within this video. But try and think outside of that box that I gave you. Refer to your text. They do a pretty good job of outlining some other areas as well. But if you sit down as a manager and you look at these numbers, what would you want to know if you saw these numbers? Okay?